Alright, this is my StorySlam project. It is called 7 Years Later. So the story starts when I was 8 years old. My family decided to immigrate to Canada, and that was a big decision, of course, for my parents to take three young boys who were very rowdy, pack up 10 suitcases and their whole lives, and just move to a different country. So that's where my story starts here, and yeah, since then, I've lived in Canada and kind of grown up in that Canadian lifestyle. Fast forward now to grade 9. Now, in grade 9, I was new to ACS, was trying to do things to look cool, to make friends, which I thought would make friends. But at the end of the day, it only led to me making some bad choices that weren't smart things to do or good things to do ethically. And this kind of fell in line with at the end of my grade 9 year. That's when we were going back to South Africa to visit for the very first time. So I was kind of in this space of, what am I doing? What are these choices that I'm making? How do I change? When we went back to South Africa for the first time since moving. And then when we went back, I saw my grandfather for the first time since I moved. I saw a lot of things and people that I haven't seen in years. And it was a good vacation. Started off visiting with my mom's parents and then went to the Kruger National Park for 2 weeks. And during that, I was kind of just like not focusing on it. I'm enjoying vacation, hanging out with my family, enjoying things from my childhood, all of that. But then when we went back to my old hometown where we used to live in Lepalale, when we went back to the church that we were at, all of these people who I had known when I was a kid, they all had seen the Facebook posts of us living here in Canada. And they're like, oh, yes, you're so amazing, you're so great. And they thought of me very highly. They thought I was this great person, even though they didn't know what I was actually doing back home and the choices I was making. And that kind of started to open up my eyes a little bit, seeing, well, I mean, these people think of me this way, but that's not truly what I am. I started thinking, how can that truly be me? And now after that week in our hometown, we went back to the family farm where my grandparents now live. And the interesting thing about that farm is my grandfather bought it in the 2000s, but in the late 1800s and early 1900s, that farm was actually belonged to another part of the extended family long ago from my grandfather's side of the family, and he rebought that farm. So it's a pretty big farm, about 800 hectare. And in the front of the farm is the house I live on now, but back, tucked in this little green, beautiful, luscious valley filled with trees and a field, is this old farm brick house. And there's this little bench there, and it's this beautiful scenery of a field and trees, and you can hear the creek running in the background. And it was a beautiful sunny day, and me and my grandfather went back there, and we just kind of sat there, and he started telling me about the family history, about the first Paul Kern to come to South Africa from Germany as a British mercenary and snuck away from his post to marry a Afrikaans woman, and he died in the Boer War. And then his son, who escaped from a concentration camp and then came back to find his wife married to another man, and then married another woman. And from my great-grandfather having to capture people sneaking across the border, all of these amazing stories of what my ancestors have done. And my grandfather looks at me and he says to me, Paul, I want you to know that I'm very thankful that you are the next generation of this family. And that really hit me deep, because that's kind of where I realized the fault I was making. I was making my choices based on what I wanted to do. I wanted to do stupid things to look cool. But then I realized I need to make my choices for two reasons. The first reason is so that my grandkids and my great-grandkids can look back on my choices and say, man, I wish to be like him. That man made good choices. I aspire to be like him. The second is so that my ancestors would be proud of my choices, so that they would be happy with what I'm doing and the choices I'm making. it is only my duty to honor these people who have come before me. And I feel like the choices are the best way for me to show that. And yeah, that has paved the way for me to make the choices that I have now. I haven't been perfect, but I've definitely since then tried to make better choices, and I feel like I've been doing a better job, especially getting closer to God, because faith has always been a big thing in my family. And I just feel more connected to God after seeing those two reasons why I should make my choices. Not because I want to look cool or be cool, but it's for something bigger than me and people more than me. And yeah, that's my story 7 years later.